in the present moment. Living in the present takes you to bliss. The power of now is a straight way to bliss. Simply add awareness to every inhalation and exhalation. So to attain bliss, you don't need any separate time. You don't need to take time off and go to any retreat or meditation camp. You can continue with your daily activity. With the increased awareness that you will be creating, your deadlines and other targets will get done much more efficiently. Meditation is nothing but a shift in your consciousness. It is an energy shift in your being. It is not sitting in a corner, cross-legged and straight-backed and trying to control the mind. If you try doing all this, you'll only land up with neck pain and back pain. You will have one more worry that you are not able to sit and do meditation. All you need to do is try to live in the present, in the now and here. When you are in the present, you will feel and enjoy existence. When you are in the present, you will move in tune with existence. When you are in the present, existence itself will teach you. Existence is the greatest master. That is what they mean when they say that life is a great teacher. When you miss it, you take your own sweet time to learn. And when you take your own sweet time to learn, life gives some shocks so that you wake up and learn quicker. Else you will learn for lives together. You see now, you are running behind the past with regret or behind the future with anxiety. You completely destroy the present because of this pattern. What happens is, you never act properly. You simply react based on your past memories or anxiety of the future. When you only react, you are not using your whole potential. You are simply behaving like a programmed robot. You follow blind logic, not awareness and intelligence. 80% of your energy is locked in the past or future, and only 20% is available to you in the present. That is why you feel dull and sapped of your energy. With increased awareness, this situation can be turned around and your life can be lived on a higher plane, which is more blissful, joyful, and exciting. Yes, any questions? Swamiji, so you feel that simply by witnessing our breath, we can achieve bliss? Yes, it is a very powerful technique. You see, when you watch your breath, your awareness is intense and no thought can escape you unconsciously. When every thought starts passing through your awareness, you will automatically not create negative thoughts for yourself. You don't have to spend any time in correcting your thoughts. The awareness will do it for you. Your thinking system will automatically get restructured. The power of awareness is such that it transforms your thinking system to positive energy. You see, we somehow feel that only when we have experienced pain, we have fulfilled our desires. We run till we get pain. We run till we hit the fence. We are so used to the concept of a fence that even if we are told that there is no fence, no boundary, we are not ready to believe it. We run and somehow hit a fence and feel pain. Then we stop, satisfied in having felt the pain. We then feel our desires have been lived out. We always feel that we have to go through anxiety and worry in order to be worthy of being showered. We are in eternal preparation for worry and pain. And then there are some people who create worries for themselves and then drink to forget the worries. A very common thing today. It is something like this. A pig is not able to bear the smell and slush of its own habitat and so plunges its nose inside it. You think you have beaten all your worries by drinking, when in reality you have actually plunged headlong into more of it. We want something, but we create self-contradictory results for ourselves and then cause more worry for ourselves. This is the main problem, although we are not aware of it. A small story. An unwelcome visitor came to a man's house. The man screamed to his wife, who was inside the kitchen, to bring coffee for the visitor. The wife screamed back that there was no coffee in the house and that there was no money to buy it either. The husband got angry and he started scolding his wife, and finally he gave her a slap for not being able to serve coffee. The wife started crying. The visitor saw what was happening and slowly got up and went away. The wife wiped her tears and triumphantly told the husband, "Did you see that? I pretended to cry and I sent him away." The husband replied, "Well, I pretended to be angry with you and made you cry." The visitor joined them. "I pretended to walk away and I have now come back." Our thoughts are different from our words, and hence we lose the life that we are living. Ramakrishna says, uniting our thoughts and words is like doing a penance. But what do? We edit our thoughts and bring them out as words. There is so much of calculation that goes on inside before the words come out. We see profit and loss and go into the future to analyze before we start talking. Our personality never gets integrated because of this, and we remain fragmented. People ask me how I am able to talk for hours together without any preparation. You see, I talk the truth as it is, spontaneously, that's all. I am not worried about exposing the truth. I never edit my words. For me, thinking is talking. For you, first thinking happens, then editing is done on it, and only then comes talking. The innocence is lost in the whole process, and you are caught with so many words.